Hello again, everybody. I have been doing more work on the Scabbard project, and that means prototyping with cardboard because it's cheap and fast and easy to carve. So what I've made is a mock-up of the combined multi-tool Scabbard. It kind of works. And you can see I've made it out of layered cardboard. But this was really, the purpose was to figure out the orientation of the accessory tools. And it is no trivial matter. The guys who were making these things were seriously flexing their technical ability. Fitting them in, set this off to the side for a while, fitting them in is not that easy. Like if you divide the Scabbard down the center line, these tools, in order to fit, have to approach the center line and maybe even cross it. They may even wind up touching each other. That's not such a big deal for the pricker, which I haven't brought in, but for the needle, like that's meant to be sharp. So that it can go through a muscle group and bring a string with it. But, you learn a lot of things wrong, or a lot of things that you've done wrong when you make a prototype, and that's no different here. That's why I did this out of a cheap and easy to work material. And the primary problem, I think, is the angle. I made the wall between the dagger scabbard and the accessory carve outs, because it's not really a scabbard yet. I haven't covered it, and I don't think I will. I think I'm going to leave this as it is for my own edification for later prototypes. But what I think I'm going to do is like I already made an angle to mount the accessories. Carved that in. It needs to be steeper, so these accessories need to be at a it's really hard to do with one hand, need to be at a sharper angle. How about this? Yeah, they need to be more like this. This one's a little tough to get out. There we go. It's going to have to be more like this, and the way that we do that is by cutting in back here. This height is actually probably pretty good. I can't be too aggressive because in order to get these out, they can't actually be touching the throat of the scabbard where the dagger rests. Back in here, I will on a finished version, I will have to cut this in fairly significantly. But still having the height here to dig in towards the corners is probably where I'll need to go next. So, making things, especially new things, complicated new things, this is a lot more complicated than I expected it would be when I took on the project. You always learn a lot. But yeah, these guys, these Scabbard makers were, what they were doing was no joke. It was very, very impressive technically. And there were a lot of different ways that they might have made it. And I've thought of them. I don't have the skill to replicate some of them. I think we have pretty good indications from extant Scabbards where you can see what's going on. That wood cores were absolutely done and practiced. There are others that we have metal shells that do not have internals, or very few internals. So it's entirely possible that there could have been like a bracket to hold on to accessories, and they just floated. And if they rattled around a little bit, who cared? As long as the primary dagger was protected, the accessory tools were very ancillary. And so it there was not a special care taken. Not on these style of scabbards, but on the on hunting truces, on scabbards for a cased hunting set. There were little leather, almost cylinders, that were made to hold each individual tool, and then the cylinders were stuffed in a pouch, not a pouch, a box, a leather and wood box, and each leather cylinder held the individual tools. And I'm not ready for that, so I'm going to be sticking with wood and metal, more or less in my wheelhouse. But it's fascinating. It's a problem of geometry, getting all of these to fit in the form factor that it needs to go. Now, I could make this a lot easier on myself by making these narrower and smaller in general. And you do see smaller accessory tools and more narrow ones, but honestly, these are direct copies of an extant example, and they made it fit, so I just have to make a couple more prototypes to make these fit too. Although, now that I've gotten into this, the maker who made these accessory tools, that may also have been a flex. That may have been an expression of technical skill to be able to make accessory tools that are usable, comfortable to use, and still actually fit in a dagger scabbard. That may have been a technical accomplishment. But that's it for tonight. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.